Muy contentos de estar acompañados ahora en nuestro estudio de Ahora o Nunca de uno de los nombres más importantes en la historia del boxeo. Una leyenda del deporte, el señor Bob Arum, presidente de Top Rank, que además ahora con esta sociedad con ESPN tenemos el gusto de verlo muy seguido. Señor Arum, bienvenido, ¿cómo está?
Thank you, it's a pleasure to be here.
Es un gusto tenerlo con nosotros, señor Arum. Vamos directo a lo que acaba de pasar el fin de semana. Vimos a Mikey Garcia, iba a decir enfrentar, pero debería de decir tratar de enfrentar a Erol Spence Jr. Y creo que a nadie nos gustó lo que vimos. ¿Cuál es su conclusión de lo que pasó con Mikey Garcia?
For me, it was a money grab by Mikey Garcia. I never gave him a chance against Spence, but he took the fight and he owed it to the fans to try to win. He never tried to win. He tried to survive. Let me tell you a story. I've been around this business 53 years. The first fight where a fighter of a smaller weight was fighting a larger weight fighter was, for me, was in 1974, outside of Paris, France, where the great middleweight champion Carlos Monzon from Argentina was fighting one of the great welterweight champions of all time, Jose Mantequilla Napoles. And Napoles is the welterweight, Monzon the middleweight. Again, a bridge too far. But look what Napoles did. He didn't concede the fight because Monzon was too big. He knew that. But he took the fight to Monzon. He ended up getting knocked out by Monzon, but he got out on his shield. And that's what Garcia should have done. You take money from the people, you perform. You don't just stay in to survive.
Yeah. Es totalmente real. Y por eso incluso el señor Arum puso un tweet, Hércules, muy interesante. Vamos a revisar, porque el señor Arum está involucrado en social media, en las nuevas tendencias, y puso esto. A diferencia de Mikey Garcia, Amir Khan entra a una pelea tratando de ganarla, que es justo lo que nos acaba de decir. Su habilidad de boxeo, que es fenomenal, puede darle problemas a Terence Crawford. Él es capaz de sorprender.
Usted está diciendo...
Yes, right. You saw when he fought Canelo Alvarez, the much bigger guy. In the beginning, when he was boxing Alvarez, he was winning.
Él iba ganando, sí.
Winning. But eventually, the size told.
El poder de Canelo.
Right, and Canelo knocked him out.
Sí.
But he went out on his shield like a man, not like somebody coming in, grabbing money, trying to survive.
Platíquenos un poco de esta pelea entre Canelo y Jacobs.
I think it's a very, very good fight. Jacobs is a very good middleweight. I think now, if he had fought Canelo a year or 2 years ago, he might have had a better chance. Now, I think Canelo is reaching his peak of his ability. He's a very good fighter, and I think Canelo will be too much for Jacobs.
¿Es el Canelo Álvarez el mejor boxeador libra por libra del momento?
No. I know I'm on a Hispanic network.
No, pero sabemos la verdad. Aquí hablamos con la verdad.
I think I like, for skills, I like two guys, and they're my two guys. Vasyl Lomachenko, who fights at Staples against the Englishman on April 12th, and Terence Bud Crawford, who reminds me of Sugar Ray Leonard, and will be fighting against the Englishman, Crolla, April 12th, here at Staples.
Y esa es la versión de los expertos, lo que dice el señor Bob Arum.
¿Hay un boxeador hoy en día que le puede ganar a Canelo?
Is there one boxer that can beat Canelo? Not today. Golovkin, I would have picked to beat him a year ago. Golovkin's getting older. Canelo, right now, is the best middleweight in the world, and there's nobody that can beat him.
Vamos a repasar el señor Bob Arum, más de medio siglo en el mundo del boxeo, ha organizado de las funciones más grandes en la historia. Vamos a revisar su top 3, pero nada más rápidamente quisiera conocer su reacción en el momento en el que usted supo del contrato de Canelo Álvarez con DAZN, más de 350 millones de dólares. ¿Cuál fue su primera reacción al escuchar ese acuerdo?
My first reaction is to recognize that this is professional boxing. That means money. So if baseball players like Harper and now Trout get all this kind of money, why shouldn't boxers? And if the deal was offered to Canelo, as it's been reported, it's a lot of money, and I think he's to be commended, and Oscar should be commended for taking that deal. No question about it.
Imagínense lo que hubieran ganado para revisar el top 3 de las peleas del señor Bob Arum, estos grandes boxeadores históricos, Manos de Piedra Durán, Sugar Ray Leonard en el número 3. Díganos sus recuerdos de esa gran rivalidad, una de las rivalidades históricas en el boxeo.
You have to understand that fighters got paid for the times. That when Roberto Duran fought Sugar Ray Leonard in one of the great fights in Montreal in the big Olympic Stadium, it was the really rebirth of then closed circuit and the beginning of pay-per-view. They got compensated very well, and the country went crazy because Leonard was the poster boy for, he had Olympic champion, and Duran, the Panamanian, but was loved by all Hispanics, no matter where they came from. His father was Mexican. So it was a great event, and Duran won that fight. He opened up an early lead before, and there's a big story about it, but I won't get into it, as to why Leonard fought the fight the way he did. But Duran clearly won that fight, and Leonard got revenge in the two subsequent fights, the No Mas fight and the last fight in Las Vegas.
Déjame traducir rápido, dice algo interesante. Cuando hablamos del negocio del boxeo, esa pelea regresó el circuito cerrado y el pay-per-view. Sí. Por el tipo de nombres que era, ¿no? Y Roberto Durán ganando la primera y después Sugar Ray Leonard ganando las otras dos.
Imagínate un thriller en Manila hoy en día. Ali contra Frazier.
¿Cuánto dinero se ganaría en esa pelea hoy?
The thriller in Manila was an incredible event. First of all, it was the biggest fight to take place outside the country, although they had the Zaire fight where Ali beat Foreman. But then, the Philippines opened up everything. The Marcoses were in power. It was one of the great events that I've ever been at.
¿Por qué fue en Manila? ¿Por qué se decidió que fuera Manila?
Well, because the Philippine government, Marcoses, were having big problems with the Muslim insurgency in the south, in the Mindanao, in the south of the Philippines. So they thought that they'd bring Muhammad Ali, the great Muslim hero, to the Philippines. It would calm everything down. Well, that was in 1975, and they're still fighting now. So it didn't do much good. But they put up a lot of money to get that fight, and it took place in the Araneta Coliseum in Manila. It was then older building. It was very dark, not air conditioned, and the fight was like Ali's described it as living death, because Ali gets off to a big start, and then Frazier comes back, and he looks like he's going to knock him out, and then somehow about the 12th round, Ali recovers and starts beating the hell out of Frazier. And by the 14th round, Ali couldn't move after the 14th round, and Frazier's both eyes were completely shut, so he couldn't go out, and so he sat on his stool, and Ali won the fight. One of the greatest fights that I have ever seen, ever. But for sheer drama and for the what was at stake, the 3 rounds that Hagler and Leonard fought were, for me, the most phenomenal thing I've ever seen.
Y era de esas, cuando el boxeo rebasaba los 12 rounds, que después se tuvo que implementar esa regla por la salud de los boxeadores, por ese tipo de combates además. Hagler, Hearns, otro de los 2 nombres históricos para este deporte, su número 1.
I had promoted that fight And for the first time ever, I took both fighters on a tour of the country. They started in New York, they came to California, they went back east. So 2 weeks, they were in press conferences, 2 and 3 a day. They ended up hating each other because they got on each other's nerves. In St. Louis, Hagler went at Hearns, and I'm yelling, "Stop it! You throw a punch, the fight's off, you don't get paid."
Bob, hay que hablar un poco de la UFC. ¿La UFC es una amenaza directa al boxeo o lo ves como un aliado?
I think it's something else. I think it's another combat sport. It has its fans. We're both now cousins because we're both Top Rank and UFC are both being shown on ESPN and ESPN Plus. So, I mean, I don't like mixed martial arts, but maybe that's because of my age. But, you know, UFC has its fans and boxing has its fans, particularly in the Hispanic community and in the black community, urban community. Boxing is much more popular. So, you know, I think people can watch both. A lot of boxing fans can't watch mixed martial arts UFC.
Correct.
They just don't like it. But it has obviously a lot of fans. A lot of people want to watch it. That's choices. That's good. I mean, just because you like, say, professional football doesn't mean you're not going to watch soccer, you know?
Fútbol y fútbol.
Pues football and football. The real football and the fake football.
Y el fútbol americano, ese es el otro. Bob Arum.
Well, that's the real football.
Ese es el real. Bob Arum, Top Rank, en donde ESPN ahora se ha vuelto la casa para, nos decía el señor Arum, más de 30 eventos al año de boxeo en ESPN. Y Vasily Lomachenko estuvo en este mismo estudio hace poco y seguramente Amir Khan, Terence Crawford los tendremos también para hablar de estos grandes eventos que el señor Arum está promocionando aquí.
Well, first, April 12th, down the street here at Staples, Lomachenko, who is he's technically the best fighter I've seen since the early Ali. I mean, he's incredible, the distance and everything. I mean, it's just a treat to watch him. Fights a mandatory fighter from England, Crolla, who is a good fighter. And the card is loaded with fighters from all over the world. But the guy that I'm really interested in was the super middle. He still is the super middleweight champions, Zurdo Ramirez. Who is now
Ahí estuvo. Ahí mismo.
And Zurdo is testing the waters, and he's going up and he's fighting Tommy Carpencia, who's a really good light heavyweight. And I told Zurdo, he was in my office with his lovely wife, who's about to have a baby, Priscilla, and he said that I said to him, let's see how it goes, and then if you want to stay at super middleweight, I'll get you Saunders, the Englishman.
Saunders, yeah.
That would be a great fight. Or if you want to go up and light heavyweight, no monkeying around, you'll go in with Kovalov, you go in with Vocek, you'll fight for a title. So he loves that, and we'll see on April 12th how he adjusts to the light heavyweight division.
El boxeo está en muy buenas manos. Señor Bob Arum, como siempre, muchas gracias por estar con nosotros en Ahora o Nunca. Esta es su casa, y nos veremos aquí enfrente muy pronto. Señor Arum, gracias.
Yeah, but then guys, come to New York.
Díganle a mi productor
por
que
favor,
me vuelva a Nueva York.
Un viaje a Nueva York.
No quiere pagar, señor Arum, es muy codo.
You have to see the present coming of Sugar Ray Leonard, which is Terence Bud Crawford fighting this Englishman, Amir Khan, a guy who doesn't fight like Mikey Garcia.
Señor Arum, usted nos invita a nosotros, usted nos puede invitar a Hércules y a mí a esa pelea.
Ahí vamos.
Lo comprometo públicamente, señor Arum. Anímese.
You're invited.
Gracias. Ahí está. Bob Arum, gracias como siempre.
Good to see you.
Muchas gracias.
El señor Bob Arum, la leyenda del boxeo con nosotros en Ahora o Nunca.